A warm welcome to all our viewers. I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra and you're watching another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's participation in the 51st G7 summit in Canada marked a landmark moment for New Delhi. Against the backdrop of escalating global tensions from Middle East conflicts to US-China trade disputes, India's invitation highlighted its rising geopolitical significance. Though not a formal G7 member, India's presence opened new avenues to strengthen trade relations, rebuild ties with Canada, and assert its expanding influence on the global stage. A report.
The G7, or Group of Seven, is a premier forum comprising the world's most advanced economies, wielding significant influence over global economic governance, geopolitical strategy, and sustainable development. This year, India once again participated as a guest nation, an invitation extended by Canada, the host country. The repeated inclusion of India in G7 summits over the years underscores its growing global stature and strategic importance. At the G7 outreach session held in Kananskis, PM Modi delivered a compelling address emphasizing energy security as a defining challenge for future generations. In a significant diplomatic moment on the sidelines of the summit, PM Modi and his Canadian counterpart Mark Carney held their first bilateral meeting, setting the stage for a renewed chapter in the relationship between the two nations.
भारत और कनाडा के संबंध अनेक प्रकार से बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। कनाडा की अनेक कंपनियों का भारत में निवेश है। भारत के लोगों का भी कनाडा की धरती पर बहुत बड़ा निवेश है। लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों को समर्पित कनाडा और भारत मिलकर के लोकतंत्र को मजबूत करना होगा, मानवता को मजबूत करना होगा।
In a strong message of shared democratic values and collaborative ambition, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney lauded India's leadership on global issues.
It's a great honor to host you at the G7. India has been coming to the G7, I believe, since 2018 in Biarritz with our French partners, and it's a testament to the importance of your country, to your leadership, and to the importance of the issues that we look to tackle together, from energy security, from the energy transition that you're helping to lead, to the future of artificial intelligence, to the fight that we have against transnational repression, against terrorism, against other factors, and the work that we can do together. And it is my great honor to have you here.
Prime Minister Modi's presence at the G7 summit was also marked by a series of high-level bilateral meetings with key global leaders. On the sidelines of the summit, he engaged in constructive talks with the French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, focusing on deepening strategic partnerships and enhancing cooperation in technology, defense, and global security.
As a student of diplomacy for 39 years as a foreign service officer, 6 years as an international think tanker, and now 8 years as a minister, I can tell you it's been a highly successful visit. Look, the facts of the matter are, the Prime Minister has been an invitee to G7 summits now for several years now. And he not only participates, but he provides sage counsel. He is always promoting the processes of diplomacy and peace, no matter where the tension points globally are.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Canada formed a key part of his three-nation diplomatic tour, which also included Cyprus and Croatia. The visit underscored India's commitment to strengthening ties with key global partners across continents. Before arriving in Canada, the Prime Minister made a stop in Cyprus, where he engaged in discussions aimed at boosting economic and strategic cooperation. Following his engagements in Canada, PM Modi travelled to Croatia, marking the final leg of his tour and making history as the first Indian Prime Minister to visit the country.
Bangladesh's interim government led by Muhammad Yunus is under increasing pressure at home and abroad. Following a highly criticized trip to the United Kingdom, Yunus recently returned to Dhaka to face growing opposition, worsening governance conditions and continue delayed in the election process. Take a look.
As Bangladesh grapples with political uncertainty, Interim Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus returned this week from what many are calling a disastrous visit to the United Kingdom. The trip, aimed at garnering international support and financial cooperation to address alleged corruption by the previous administration, ended without any tangible success. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer declined to meet Yunus, signalling diplomatic disengagement. This snub was compounded by scenes of chaos outside the Dorchester Hotel in London, where Yunus was greeted by large-scale protests led by British Bangladeshis.
Today, Professor Dr. Muhammad Yunus of the interim government came to London, and when he arrived at his hotel, the Dorchester, at 7:30 in the morning, there were more than 1,000 protesters who were comprising from all different walks of life from the Bangladeshi diaspora here in the UK, including Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, atheists, members of the third gender, the LGBT community. So everybody in one voice, they raised the secularism demand regardless of their color, creed or religion, and everybody was very angry and very furious.
Back in Dhaka, criticism of the interim administration continues to grow. Yunus government, formed in the wake of Sheikh Hasina's departure, has been accused of failing to maintain law and order and reneging on its promises of fair and inclusive elections. Moreover, human rights groups have flagged increasing cases of unlawful detentions, suppression of press freedoms, and worsening conditions for women and minorities.
His administration has clearly failed to not only maintain law and order, they have backtracked on the promise to create the very free and fair, inclusive elections in Bangladesh. That date has been slipping. The situation on women's safety, children and minorities has deteriorated, and the country has really plummeted in those instances. Unlawful arrests of journalists. It is also reported almost 100 MPs from the previous government are now in custody on fake or bogus cases, which appears not to have gone through due process when they were arrested.
Further complicating matters, Yunus has now alienated even his initial political supporters. The hardline Jamaat-e-Islami and the newly formed National Citizen Party, both of whom backed the original plan to hold elections in April, have accused him of political bias. Their anger comes after Yunus and the opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party reportedly reached a preliminary deal to move elections forward to February, prompting accusations of partisanship and betrayal. As Bangladesh slips deeper into political turmoil, the international community watches with growing concern. What began as a promise of reform has turned into a cloud of confusion, delayed elections, and mounting civil unrest. With institutions weakened and public trust eroding by the day, the path forward remains uncertain. For millions of Bangladeshis at home and abroad, the question now is not just when democracy will return, but if it ever truly will.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto held talks with President Vladimir Putin in the northern Russian city of St. Petersburg on Thursday, after which the duo signed a declaration on a strategic partnership between the two nations. Prabowo thanked Putin for his support over Indonesia's entry to BRICS and said that ties between the two countries were improving.
Diapason serves as Yamaha's innovative platform for developing 4 highly versatile and user-friendly vehicles. The company's core technological strengths, motors, batteries, and control systems form the foundation of this initiative. Among the showcased models, the C580 stands out for its exceptional performance in off-grid and rugged terrains powered entirely by electricity. Its development was the result of close collaboration with various partners from the agricultural machinery and industrial production sectors, ensuring the vehicle meets the practical demands of these industries. This C580 is especially designed for agricultural use. Another vehicle, the C310, will undergo demonstration trials at Haneda Airport. The versatile Diapason platform is set to make a global impact across diverse sectors.
アジアの離島はですね、今もともとガソリン車が中心だったんですが、環境の配慮ということで電動化に進んでおります。ただその電動化で小型で走れる車両っていうのが実はアジアにあんまり存在してません。インド市場もあると思ってます。具体的にはインドの大渋滞の今問題がありまして、大きな車両じゃなかなか通れない、これをですねベースにインドの会社とですね協業しながらインド向けっていうのを目指していきたいと思ってます。
The Diapason platform offers opportunities for collaboration with other companies. Yamaha Motors invite partners to join in creating and expanding new markets.
Pakistan evacuated hundreds of students, pilgrims and other nationals from Iran amid the escalating Iran-Israel conflict. As per reports, a group of 214 Pakistani students studying in a medical and engineering institutions in Iran arrived at the Taftan border crossing on June 17. Border crossings at Panjgur were closed indefinitely following the outbreak of hostilities, though Taftan remains operational for repatriation and trade.
Moving on. India has launched Operation Sindhu to ensure the safe return of its students caught in the escalating conflict between Iran and Israel. The first rescue flight successfully evacuated 110 students from northern Iran via Armenia to New Delhi. Indian diplomatic missions continue to assist nationals in high-risk areas, coordinating further evacuations. Take a look.
In response to the escalating conflict between Iran and Israel, the government of India has swiftly launched Operation Sindhu to ensure the safety of its citizens. Demonstrating unwavering commitment to protecting Indian nationals abroad, the Ministry of External Affairs successfully coordinated the first rescue flight, safely evacuating 110 Indian students from northern Iran. These students were first escorted overland to Armenia's capital, Yerevan, under the close supervision of Indian diplomatic missions in both countries. From there, they boarded a special flight to New Delhi, arriving in the early hours of June 19, 2025. Expressing their relief and gratitude, several returned students shared their experience.
बहुत खुश हूँ खुशी बयान नहीं कर सकता अपने घर वालों को देखने के लिए खुशी जो है बहुत ज़्यादा है
भारत आ गए बहुत खुशी है हम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के बहुत शुक्रगुजार है पर्टिकुलरली हम मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फॉरेन अफेयर्स के कि उन्होंने हमें फास्ट ट्रैक बेसिस पे इंडिया वापस लाया
As the conflict continues, Indian missions remain vigilant, helping nationals move from high-risk zones to safer locations and arranging further evacuations as needed.
हम इंडियन एम्बेसी के साथ कंटिन्यू टच में थे तो जब हालत ज़्यादा ख़राब होने लगी तो उन लोगों ने हमें एश्योरेंस दी कि हम हमको एवैक्यूएट करेंगे तो 16 सुबह उन लोगों ने हमें पहले उर्मिया से एक आर्मीनियन बॉर्डर लिया, फिर आर्मीनियन बॉर्डर से हमें आर्मीनियन के कैपिटल सिटी में लिया गया, फिर वहाँ से हमें यहाँ लाया गया।
Indian nationals in Iran are urged to stay in close contact with the embassy in Tehran via the emergency helpline and the Ministry of External Affairs 24/7 control room in New Delhi. India's swift response through Operation Sindhu echoes a long-standing tradition of protecting its citizens in times of crisis abroad. Over the past decade, India has successfully conducted numerous evacuation missions around the world. In 2015, during the Yemeni civil war, India launched Operation Rahat, evacuating over 4,600 Indian nationals and foreign nationals alike from the war-torn country under perilous conditions. Similarly, in 2021, amid the Afghanistan crisis, India evacuated its citizens and diplomats as the situation rapidly deteriorated, showcasing India's readiness to act even in challenging geopolitical landscapes. In 2022, during the Russia-Ukraine conflict, India's embassy in Kyiv worked tirelessly to facilitate the safe exit of Indian nationals, coordinating multiple flights and ground movements. Operation Sindhu stands as the latest example of this commitment, a clear message that India will always prioritize the safety and security of its citizens, no matter where they are in the world.
In the bustling heart of Hyderabad, where history and modernity often walk hand in hand, lies a story that began over 7 decades ago, with a dream carried across borders and a recipe passed down through generations. Today, we step into the world of Karachi Bakery, a place where every biscuit tells a story of resilience, every cake celebrates a moment, and every bite carries the flavor of legacy. In 1947, as India was being reshaped by the partition, one man arrived in the Deccan Plateau with nothing but his passion and knowledge of baking. His name was Kanchand Ramnani, a Sindhi migrant from Karachi. Hyderabad embraced him warmly. With skillful hands and a dream in his heart, he began baking fruit biscuits that would soon become a household name, and thus Karachi Bakery was born in 1953. From a modest shop to a global presence, Karachi Bakery's journey is a tribute to tradition, taste and intensity. Its iconic fruit biscuits now travel the world. 70 years later, the spirit of Karachi Bakery thrives stronger than ever. In the heart of Hyderabad's modern marvel, high-tech city stands a new age outlet where legacy meets lifestyle.
ये अपना 1953 में लॉन्चिंग हुआ है। हमारा ओनर का नाम है कांचंद रमनानी है, वो लॉन्चिंग किए हुआ है। ये अभी जब से अभी तक चलते जा रहा है। और उसके बाद अपना कराची का फेमस बिस्किट है, फ्रूट बिस्किट, उस्मानिया बिस्किट है, कैशू बिस्किट है, बादाम पिस्ता बिस्किट, जब कई बिस्किट आए उसके बाद ये पूरे सारे वेराइटीज़ है पूरा बिस्किट्स के जो पीछे लगा हुआ है।
In Hyderabad, Karachi Bakery is not just a store, it's a part of people's daily lives and sweet memories. From some, it's a pit stop after work. For others, a taste of nostalgia.
So people usually prefer the fruit biscuits over here, but personally I like the Osmania one. I like the sweet and salty flavor over here. So like whenever I am in this part of the town, I just grab like 5-10 minutes to take a quick bite in their cafeteria and take the Osmania biscuits as well.
For others, Karachi Bakery is where celebrations begin, with cakes that have become tradition in their own right.
One of the most favorite cakes that we use from Karachi Bakery is the chocolate truffle. It has been our go-to birthday cakes for all our friends and family. I think that's one of their top selling product. And we also like the fruit biscuits of Karachi Bakery.
Whenever I come to Karachi Bakery, I always try to convince my dad to buy me a maska bun. So mostly I eat maska bun in the evening with my parents with a sip of chai or coffee. It attracts me a lot, especially the butteriness and the creaminess of the maska bun. So it's a highly recommended place, and if you guys ever come to Karachi Bakery, a maska bun is always a try.
Apart from its roots in Hyderabad, Karachi Bakery has grown to serve Bangalore, Chennai and Delhi with a selection of its products reaching tables around the world. From fruit biscuits to musk buns, from partition era origins to global reach, Karachi Bakery has become more than just a bakery. It's a symbol of resilience, culture and flavor that brings generations together. In a world that's constantly changing, some tastes, some stories are simply timeless. With every creation, Karachi Bakery honors its roots and sweetens the legacy it carries forward. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.